In Mexico, when we want to keep secrets, we drink pulque together. It's a drink made from the cactus plant. And when you take the bottle from your mouth, it leaves a string behind between the mouth and the bottle, like a spider's web. It shows that the truth sticks inside, said film director Alejandro Jodorowsky. That's the thing about secrets. Like water, they have a way of finding their way out, no matter how deep you bury them. And so, once upon a time, it had been 3 grim years for Suzanne, and it was only getting worse. Tomas had no problem sleeping, but she had always been a light sleeper. A little creak here or a rattle there would wake her up. The trouble had started a week ago. Tomas and Suzanne had just returned from their so-called honeymoon. It was a Sunday night, and Tomas slept early to wake up for a morning meeting. It was about midnight, and Suzanne heard the television come on in the lounge. She flocked to the eerie light that emitted like channels were being changed randomly, to find that it was exactly what was happening. The television had come on without any real reason. The remote lay where she had left it, and to her surprise, the socket to which the power cord was connected had been removed. She turned the television off and pulled the cord out for good measure. Nothing. The television stayed turned off. She shrugged it off at a freak incident and went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. She walked into the lounge to find the television was changing channels on its own, randomly. It cast a strange hues of changing color in the otherwise dark room. Suzanne stood in the middle of the colorful melee, frightened. Then what she saw took the breath out of her. The television power cord was hanging from the socket. It was not connected. Suzanne sat alone in a cafe by the river, sipping her cappuccino and watching the tourists in the afternoon sun. The television problem had petrified her, yet she did not want to tell Tomas. After all, the last few years had not been easy for him either. And she had a lot to do with that. Antonio, her husband before Thomas, had died in a car accident 3 years ago. It had devastated her. She spent a year drinking herself into a blankness. Another year in and out of rehab, and then she finally met Tomas. He brought back the sunlight into her life. She was not easygoing for Tomas, but he had enough sunshine to quell the darkness around her. As the afternoon began to give way to the evening, Suzanne decided to see that she should not trouble Tomas with this nonsense. It was time she became part of the solution and not the problem. She waited for the eerie hour of the night. The silence was broken by the television coming on. Suzanne stepped into the lounge and watched the channels going crazy. The power cord was out of the socket, and the television had a life of its own. Despite her fears, Suzanne watched the television run its madness, one channel to the other, and then she realized that there was a method to the madness. Suzanne knew one thing about everything that happened in life. There was a reason for it. She had to find the reason. The next night,
When the television did its jig, Suzanne sat down ready in front of it with a sheet of paper and a pen. She quickly wrote down everything that was coming on the channels, from the news channels to the sports channel, from the animation channel to the music channel. When she read what she had written, it sent a chill down her spine. Today, everyone knows you are a victim. No one in the world has the thought. You did it. I died. You have made that happen. I am not going anywhere. You're coming with me. The first, you killed me. My red car, murder. It was not an accident. You should be ready. You will die. Her husband was not going away. He was here for her. She had gotten rid of him in life. How was she going to get rid of his spirit?